bloody hell are you? What's he doing in my house?
What are you doing in my house?
Unbelievable.
They do not know about you yet.
Oh, gosh.
I love a Christmas rom-com. I'm a big fan of the holiday sweetness and romance. And I was wondering, for you, is that something that you were like keen to do when you got this project, or is this something that wasn't even on your radar?
It wasn't really on my radar. I mean, I'd never done a Christmas movie, but I'd never really thought about doing a Christmas movie. Not because I don't like them, it's just kind of, it's a sort of genre that I'd kind of forgotten about almost. And I love Christmas, so I read it and I was like, hang on, this would be so much fun. And the writing was great. I felt like it really captured the kind of the chaos as well as the kind of the fun and the joy of Christmas. And it's hard to do. It's hard to make an original Christmas script, I'd feel like.
Yeah.
Tom found a very clever idea and ran with it.
I think a lot of what makes Christmas rom-coms, but rom-coms in general, is that core like tension has to feel real. There has to be something real at stake for it to resonate. It can't just be, silly. And I mean, it can be, but for it to actually affect you, you feel like you have to have something that's real at the heart of it.
Yeah, no, totally. And we didn't have many opportunities to do that, at least with sort of me and Cora, because we only have that one scene at the beginning, and then the gist is we don't actually spend Christmas really with each other, and so we have to sell this relationship and get people to root for us quite early on before it kind of devolves into that chaos I was talking about. Yeah.
How did you guys work on creating that intimacy that, like you're saying, has to be apparent when you're apart?
Well, we had some rehearsal time with Jim, and we had a chemistry read with Cora, and immediately after our read with Cora, like, okay, she's the one. She brought so much like energy and playfulness to this part, and it had to be a character that we could see my character of James just totally falling for, something he's never met. And Cora had all of that and more, and so it was honestly quite just easy working with her, riffing off of her, and finding these little sort of quirky in-jokes or whatever it is, which we don't have to explain, but just you can tell that these guys are young and they're in love and they're excited to potentially spend Christmas with each other. And then obviously it all goes
to pot. I think, it's so interesting though, because when my partner and my friends and stuff first met my mom, they'll go, oh, I understand you so much better now. And I think it's so interesting how each character learns about the other through the family, right? And I think that's something that is real, is true. And you get to know your partner in a new and interesting way when that happens, when you're finally brought into the fold.
Yeah, no, it's you do, and you see Christmases and families are very revealing, because you kind of see where this person has been kind of brought from, what their family's like, whatever it is. Yeah, it'd be quite nerve-wracking. I've only ever really spent Christmas with my own family, and my family are very, very competitive. So
oh, really?
Coming in, it could be quite scary because we love our games, we love our competition. There's a lot of sort of playful jabs,
right?
And sometimes a bit of drama. Often there's always a bit of drama. Comes with sort of big families and
yeah.
And sort of the coming together of that, which Christmas does. Sort of brings everything.
You mentioned that in your family there's the kind of barbs, playful jabs. I think that it's interesting that you bring that up, because something that this film has, and I think also Sex Education has, but also British comedy in general, has that sort of vibe. It's almost mean, but it's not, the intention's not mean, but the words are mean. Does that make sense? And I feel like that's something that kind of comes up in the stuff that you do. And I was wondering, is that something that you find yourself drawn to as an actor? Is that kind of British tone of humor?
I think so. I think British humor definitely has its sort of uniqueness to it, whether it's being incredibly deadpan or a bit self-deprecating, or having, as you said, those sort of like those barbs underneath the smile, when it's sort of it's a barb, like you can, when you really love someone, you know you can take the piss out of them and it's going to be fine because you love each other and you're the only one who can kind of point out their flaws or whatever it is. Yeah, Christmas, you kind of just dial that up a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I love humor. Comedy is not something I've, until the last sort of like 5 or so years, I'd mostly done kind of drama and some action, whatever it is, fantasy. And I'm really enjoying doing more comedy and getting my teeth in, finding it comes quite naturally to me and I enjoy it. And it's quite different, just the way you think about some scenes and stuff.
Well, it's got a different rhythm to it, right? I feel like comedy has a tempo that's quite different to drama or just things that are a little more straight.
You got to be very free and spontaneous and able to just kind of react to things and not be scared to kind of try something a bit weird. That's when you get those real moments of genius, when you're like, it's not necessarily what's on the page, but what's just come from the moment in the scene wherever you are. And it's not to sort of discredit writers by any means, because they craft a lot of like the most brilliantly written jokes, but it's so when you have to sort of finding moments of comedy, you gotta look sort of beyond the lines sometimes.
With this film, and also I guess with the other work, is that something that you are doing more of in a way that you find is supported? Because I can imagine that sometimes writers or directors might not be so keen for you to explore between what's on the page.
I think, some writers, sure, I think are a bit more protective of what they've written, and some writers are very, very collaborative. So Tom, who wrote Your Christmas and Mine, was always saying, you guys want to bring your own jokes, your own ideas, your own flavor to these characters, please do. I think it's very collaborative like that. And in Sex Education, Ben Taylor, the director, was also a huge champion for us, bringing our own ideas, our own sort of wackiness to the scenes, which I think is one of the reasons that show is so special, because we were able to go beyond what was written on the page. And it's nice to have that trust from that collaboration. And it's a bit more, a bit freer, which is nice.
I'm sure you've been asked this quite a bit, so I'm sorry that I'm going to ask you this again, but obviously there's a lot of shifts happening with sex education. There's people who are leaving. Is that daunting to kind of come back to a show with so much having changed?
I wouldn't say daunting is the right word. Definitely have been some changes. And there's obviously, we're at a new school, for example. I didn't think that would make as big of a change as it had, but the whole new location and the sort of characters that are at the school are quite different. So that adds a bit of spice into the mix. The show works so well for 3 seasons. Inevitably it has to evolve in some way. And so I'm curious to see how that's going to play out in this season with some of those changes.
It's exciting in a way, not daunting.
Yeah, no, totally. And it's different, and it's new, and it is exciting.
In terms of with Your Christmas or Mine, I was wondering, what is your favorite Christmas film? Do you have one?
Yeah, I don't watch many Christmas films, but I think it's probably Die Hard.
I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of people will be like Die Hard. I don't think Die Hard's a Christmas movie, but I'm in the minority.
No, I know a lot of people who would agree with you.